Hey guys, this is Austin, and today I'm here with the Electron, the most powerful computer I've ever built. With 8 cores, 2 graphics cards, and 5 terabytes of storage, the Electron is made to max out just about any game out there, even at 4K. With a white case, power supply, motherboard, and even fans, it's definitely got the Stormtrooper look going on, with just a bit of green on the graphics card and CPU cooler. You can individually control all the fans from inside windows to make sure the Electron is nearly silent when you're not pushing it hard, and there are nice touches like LEDs to light up the rear connections in your graphics cards. Considering how much time I spend trying to shave a few dollars off of my normal budget build, it was definitely nice to have a little fun with this one. However, get into gaming and the Electron is all business. With BioShock Infinite, we're essentially maxing out the built-in 1440p benchmark with a cool 113.6 frames per second even on Ultra. Step up to 4K inside Grid Autosport, and not even Ultra settings can bring the Electron below 60 FPS. Keep the settings maxed at 4K, and Battlefield 4 is able to get the frame rate into the mid-50s, where in Metro Last Light Redux, we're getting around 48 FPS at 4K. Getting performance like this out of the box is awesome. However, one of the nice things about the Electron is that there are some serious gains to be had if you do a little overclocking. On the CPU side, I tried the ASUS AI suite to automatically overclock the CPU to 4.4 GHz, and while I usually don't use tools like this, the AI suite is surprisingly solid. With a conservative 1.3 GHz core clock and 300 MHz memory bump on the graphics cards, Metro picks up a solid 8 frames per second, where in 3D Mark Firestrike, we're looking at 17% more performance with about 10 minutes of work. I usually don't overclock on my build videos, as it's not for everyone and you won't always get that same level of performance. However, here it took almost no effort to get some serious performance gains. If you decide to build the Electron, spend just a few minutes overclocking it. It's going to be well worth it. At the heart of the build is an Intel Core i7-5960X. This is an 8-core Haswell-E monster of a processor with 40 PCI lanes and a whopping 20 megabytes of L3 cache. This is straight up the best gaming CPU you can buy. Now out of the box, it might not seem too impressive with a 3 GHz clock speed, however don't let that fool you. My chip was able to hit 4.4 GHz at 1.3 volts no problem, which is a massive jump in clocks, and with some extra voltage, it was stable at 4.7 GHz. To put it in perspective, this is essentially what you would get if you took 2 Core i7-4770Ks and fused them together. This thing is an absolute monster. Cooling things is an NZXT Kraken X61. Considering how much heat the CPU can put off, having a dual 140mm closed loop cooler like this is a huge help in getting a solid overclock. Keeping the 5960X powered is the ASUS X99 Deluxe motherboard. Not only does it look awesome with its white heat sinks, but it's also packed with features. You get 10 SATA 3 ports, dual SATA Express along with an M2 slot, and a whopping 10 USB 3.0 ports on the back panel. One thing about these new X99 processors is that they like a lot of power. So at stock it's going to be a 140 watt CPU, however start overclocking and you're going to get that number well over 200 watts in no time, which makes the solid VRM and heatsink on the X99 Deluxe a huge help for overclocking. For graphics, we have a pair of NVIDIA's new GTX 980s. With 4GB of memory each, these are as good as it gets for gaming cards right now. With the new Maxwell 2.0 architecture, you're also getting a lot of overclocking headroom, enough to push these cards to 1.3 GHz and beyond. Like the CPU, the GTX 980 is a killer card, and when you put 2 of them together in SLI, you're getting some serious performance. So the biggest problem is actually just trying to get your hands on them. So they're sold out basically everywhere at the moment, so I was actually able to get these from my friend Elric over at Tech Tomorrow. So big shout out to Elric for letting me borrow his cards to make this build happen. However, I will have a link in the description to the 980s, which hopefully are in stock by the time you watch this. On the memory side, we have 16GB of Corsair Vengeance LPX. Not only is this brand new DDR4 RAM, but it's also clocked at a whopping 2666 MHz in quad channel mode. Since DDR4 is brand new, it's expensive, however it's also very fast. Now with this X99 Deluxe board that we're using, it supports up to 8 DEMs, which means that if you want, you can upgrade and go even more overkill. For storage, we're using a pair of 512GB Crucial MX100 SSDs. Throw these together in RAID and you'll have a full terabyte of super fast storage that can easily be hidden around the back of the case. I really like these new MX100s. Not only are they solid SSDs, but you can get a terabyte worth of them for about the same price as a single 500GB 850 Pro. Of course, we can't just have a single terabyte of storage, so the Electron also sports a 4TB Western Digital black drive. These are rock solid when it comes to performance for a spinning hard drive, and with 4TB of capacity, you can load one seriously giant Steam library on here. Powering the entire build is an NZXT Hale 90 1000 watt power supply. Not only is this an 80+ gold rated supply with modular connectors, which is more than enough to handle even our overclocked CPU and graphics cards, but it also comes in a matching white with the rest of our components. My only real complaint is that the 20+4-pin connector isn't fully sleeved like the rest of the cables, but otherwise it's a solid supply. Putting it all together is the NZXT H630. This is hands down one of my favorite cases out right now. Not only is it more than big enough to handle an SLI build like this, but there are nice little features all over the place. I pulled the top drive cages and used the bottom one as a mount for an additional fan to direct some airflow right onto the graphics cards. By default, it comes with a normal painted side panel, which still looks nice, but I was able to get my hands on the optional windowed side panel, which nicely adds to the look of the case. While it's expensive, if you really want to max out games even at 4K, the Electron is the way to do it. As always, I'll have links to all the parts I used in the description of this video over on my website. So what do you guys think? It's been a long time since I've done a high-end build like the Electron, so do you want to see more like this? Definitely be sure to let me know in the comments below. Anyway, I've got to give a huge shout out to Audible for making this video possible. Audible.com is a leading provider of audiobooks with more than 150,000 downloadable titles across all types of literature, including fiction, nonfiction, and periodicals. Right now, Audible is offering a free audiobook if you try them out, and that includes the awesome What If by Randall Munroe. Written by the guy who does XKCD, What If is all about answering crazy theoretical questions with real science. To download What If or another audiobook for free, just head over to audible.com/Austin. Like always, Audible is a huge part of the reason why I can do builds like this for you guys, so definitely be sure to check them out. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.